out the brooms once again. ASU winners of 7 straight after sweeping the Oregon schools last week. Jackson Zuber, Eric Ruby, for House of Sparky, and man, it's just fun to watch ASU basketball right now.
Oh, it has been so much fun to see this ASU team actually winning games at the end of a season so far. You know, fingers crossed on it, but it has been a great time to see this team play.
And of course, looking at this week, the LA schools, ASU will be traveling and taking them on. But before we talk about that, we're going to take a look back and talk about what these 7 straight wins have meant for ASU and a first time for ASU basketball.
7. That number has a lot of meaning for this ASU men's basketball team. They've won 7 games in a row in Pac-12 play, might I add, after sweeping the Oregon schools this past weekend. They have now quickly gone from potentially living up to their preseason poll prediction of finishing in 6th place to now owning sole possession of 1st place for the first time this late into February in program history. They've been in the former Pac-10, now Pac-12 conference for 42 years and have never won a conference title. Now, with an unbeaten starting lineup with Mickey Mitchell Two Shoes in it, who, yes, doesn't put up box score stats, but takes on the most punishing defensive assignments on a nightly basis and provides a much-needed toughness to this unit, and a JUCO transfer in Alonzo Verge off the bench, who can pull an Olympics Kobe and tell everyone to get out the way to get a bucket at any time in crucial situations. This team sits atop the Pac-12 as they now control their own destiny the rest of the way. 7. They haven't won 7 games in a row in conference play since 1981. Some important events in 1981 were MTV launching on cable television, Ronald Reagan coming into office as president, and ASU was led by Byron Scott, who went on to play in the NBA for 14 seasons and has coached multiple NBA franchises. And just for the sake of it, ASU's average in-state tuition was $350 in 1981. Today, it's over $10,000 for in-state students. Do with that what you must. There is an argument to be made that this team peaked too early, but I say they figured out their identity just in time. Their first 3 big wins of the season against Georgia, Oregon State, and Arizona were all followed by disappointing losses. That changed this week when they followed up their 77-72 victory over number 14 ranked Oregon by digging deep and beating Oregon State 74-73 with a comfort behind victory when energy was low. With 4 games remaining, this team will look to turn the number 7 into an 8, then a 9, then a 10, then an 11, and maybe, just maybe, winning a Pac-12 title will be the first milestone of the season for the Sun Devils.
The Sun Devils have swept the 2 Oregon schools to put them in 1st place in the Pac-12. The first time that has happened in a very long time. Here to talk about that and the big 7-game winning streak they are on so far this year, Mason Kern. Mason, I got to ask, how is it that they were able to go, and beat these 2 Oregon schools that they have had problems with in the past?
Right, and it was really important for ASU to win these 2 games, first of all, because it set them up to get 1st place outright in the Pac-12 this late in the season. Like you said, hasn't been done this late in the season for ASU ever. So really important, but the Oregon game specifically, turning defense to offense, great defense on Peyton Pritchard, who's probably Pac-12 Player of the Year candidate, the leading front runner for that right now, as well as a National Player of the Year candidate as well. Held him to 2 points in that first half. He got a little hotter in the second, finished the game with 18 before fouling out, but got him into foul trouble early, and that led to him reaching in on Alonzo Verge and fouling out. And then big shots, Rob Edwards, 9 of 15, 24 points a season high. And then Alonzo Verge off the bench has been extremely consistent, a game high 26 points in that game. And then Oregon State making guys take tough shots because Trace Tinkle, Ethan Thompson for the Beavers, they're going to score pretty much whenever they want. So really important to turn offense into really efficient offensive streaks for the entire roster, because those guys, they're an offensive team first, and it's really hard to compete with them when those guys are hitting shots. Their most threes in a game this year were 12. They hit 9 against ASU. So being able to take the momentum from the Oregon game and be able to win that Oregon State game was really important for this team.
Yeah, the momentum really has been carrying more and more and more as this streak has continued. It's gotten up to 7 games. What has been the key factor behind them being able to keep up these winning ways?
Right, and it's been a kind of a moniker for ASU to win a really big game and then lose the next one, and that almost happened with Oregon State. They only get the 1-point win, but nonetheless, a win's a win, and they're going to take it however they can get it. Really, it's been players buying into their roles. So many guys on this team, when you look at the start of the season to now, namely, you look at Alonzo Verge, really has adopted this mentality of coming off the bench, but being able to score at will, 26, like I said, against Oregon, and then really consistent in that Oregon State game as well. But when you look at it, these guys, Tayshaun Cherry, who's hurt right now, but get on the defensive end, rebounding, his presence has been huge. Khalid Thomas, the freshman, Jalen House, Jalen Graham, they get an alley-oop in the game against Oregon. So it's really been guys who are buying into their roles at a level that we haven't seen with this ASU team in the past. And then Bobby Hurley just doing a really great job coaching these guys and game planning for games as well.
I mean, you talk about guys buying in. Something I've really bought into is those gorgeous gold hardened throwback jerseys. I mean, they are amazing. I talked about them last week, but do you think, come on, actually, it has a little bit to do with the streak so far.
For those who are superstitious, I think you can say that. I mean, they're undefeated in the hardened throwbacks, and they'll probably wear them this week in the LA schools as well. But really, I think when you look at it, Mickey Mitchell in the starting lineup, this team has been undefeated as well. So it's kind of a culmination of a lot of factors. Like I said, guys who are playing at a really high level, at a consistent level as well, because they weren't getting that consistency early in the year, especially blown out to U of A, blown out against St. Mary's, but they've really been able to take the momentum, Oregon, U of A, and be able to carry it out in a streak. Kamani Lawrence being extremely more consistent. He had a huge game against Oregon State. So at the end of the day, you could say it's the throwbacks, you could say it's Mickey Mitchell, which a lot of people I don't think at the beginning of the year would have said, but really all of these guys are buying into their roles and they're playing for each other, and that's what matters.
I mean, I for one have to throw it to the throwback jerseys.
A lot of people do.
Oh, they just look so good. The team's been playing great in them. We'll see if they're going to be able to keep that up as they go into the series against the LA schools. Mason Curran, always fantastic here on the house.
Over the last 7 games, there's been one stat that every analyst, fan, or Sun Devil enthusiast has repeated over and over and over again. ASU is undefeated with Mickey Mitchell in the starting lineup. Now, there are many reasons to why everybody's been saying that, but the main one is, quite frankly, that it's surprising. At the beginning of the year, Mitchell was an afterthought for ASU basketball. Just another name on the roster. But now, he's ignited the Devils into first place in the pack. Obviously, he hasn't been the superstar of the team, or heck, even the team leader in a single statistical category. But the way he plays makes the whole machine that is ASU basketball work. Over everything else, Mitchell is selfless. His number one goal when he's on the court is to make sure the team is operating at the highest level it can. Not that Mickey Mitchell is putting up the best individual stats for Mickey Mitchell. His unique mix of passing and basketball IQ creates so many opportunities for guys like Remy Martin, Alonzo Verge, and Romello White that were non-existent before. Plugging in a selfless player into a lineup consisting of scorers, shooters, and post-heavy big men creates a unique synergy that's proven to be deadly. If you really break down ASU's roster, they don't have a pure point guard. Remy is an energy ball, ready to erupt in a scoring flurry at any time. Alonzo Verge is simply a certified bucket, and Rob Edwards isn't that far behind. All of these guys are supremely skilled, but their strong suit is not facilitating an offense. Now, I'm by no means saying they cannot pass or that they're selfish players, but none of them are truly pass first like Mitchell is. And not all of Mickey's passes are straight up assists, but he's also the master of the hockey assist, aka the pass that sets up the assist, and he's also great at getting the ball in a good place for those aforementioned guards so they can run the offense. Now, when we continue to praise the Devils for their success, don't just mention Mitchell's name in passing, or as a fun little quirk about the team. Talk about how much of an on-court impact his style of play makes, and how vital he's been to this team's rise to the top of the pack.
Arizona State's women's basketball team lost against the Utah Utes last week, and this week they have California. But they have one thing on their mind: senior night. There are currently 5 players on the roster who are serving as seniors and will play their last game here at Desert Financial Arena. 2 of them, Riley Richardson and Jatavia Tapley. We talked to them and head coach Charlie Turner-Thornton about the season and also what their goals are after the collegiate career.
But the postseason is really important for these seniors in terms of creating their opportunities, because that's usually when a lot of scouts and different people kind of pay attention. They don't really watch the regular season that much, so I'm excited for our seniors to really do what they can do in March, because that might help some opportunities for those that want to continue to play. And TAP definitely wants to continue to play. We'll evaluate the season when the season's over. Am I proud of what we've done up to this point? I am very proud of what we've done up to this point. The senior day is really for the fans. We have more basketball to play, and we have a banquet, and that's where we get emotional, and that's where we celebrate stuff. So this is for the fans to see our team at home, for the last time for this season. And of course, the seniors' families are coming in, so we have a fun little party But we definitely talk about that. We talk about that. Hey, this we're not gonna get real emotional. We're gonna play some great basketball. We're gonna have some fun, and a lot of basketball left.
The weekend coming up will be like our night, senior night. So we taking that to heart, and it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be fun, so I'm ready. Really thankful. My teammates and my coaches, they took me in, and I was coming into a program and learning new things. They're really patient with me. I'm a fast learner, so that added to that as a positive. And they just trusted me, and just knowing that they trust me with me being new and coming in, my coaches and my teammates, it just made me so excited and pumped up to just play as hard as I could for my teammates and my coaches. Definitely thinking about pursuing basketball still and seeing how far I can go with that. Definitely, so yeah.
It's just crazy that I'm going to be playing my last games here in this building, and I've had such fun 4 years here, and I hope it's a great weekend for us. I mean, we have a great culture here, and so we really value our locker room and how we talk to people. I hope to keep playing basketball for as long as I can, whatever level that may be. I love the game, and so I want to keep playing. We can do a lot this year, and so I really believe in this team, and we have a good chance.
Wow, Marco, exciting stuff as always. Something I'm really excited for coming up this weekend. Women's basketball, they have some very big games coming up. They got Cal, they got Stanford. Eric, what are you looking for in those games? What are you excited about?
Both games should be fun, but of course Sunday's Desert Financial Arena against Stanford's going to be senior night. Players like Jatavia Tapley, Riley Richardson will all be honored. Sun Devils looking for a storybook ending and to close the book on this exciting regular season.
Funny you said that, because it actually is time to close the book on this episode. It has been a great one. Everyone who's on camera has done a fantastic job, all the people in the studio. For Eric Ruby, I'm Jackson Zuber, closing it out on the House Hardcourt.
Yeah.